Perfect. Okay.
Just 1 second there.
Yeah.
It started there now.
Okay. Thank you, Olivia. So we're going to just show you how to set up a drop-down list, and these are really helpful to keep your data clean. Okay, so always separate first name and surname. Okay, if you haven't, there's a quick formula to separate them, but you separate first name and surname always as much as you can. Okay, so I'm going to just do a very simple drop-down list for the county that people live in. Okay, so this is Carol. This is Anya. Okay, I'm not going to put in their surnames. Okay, and we only cover the Midlands counties, so people can only live in our area in 4 of the counties. Okay, so the best advice when you're setting up a drop-down list is do it on a separate sheet within your workbook. Okay, so here's my spreadsheet. I'm going to create a new worksheet and I'm going to call it drop-down. Okay. And the drop-down I want to create is for the counties of the Midlands. So Offaly first, because I'm from Offaly, Laois next, and then we have, say, Westmeath and Longford. Okay. Now, just in case the Midlands grows, adds another county, and Galway gets moved into the Midlands, it's always best to leave a couple of extra spaces at the end, and I'll show you this in a second. Okay, so the first thing you do is you set up you put a little heading on it, and you set up the options that you want to appear in your drop down. You manually type them in. Okay, so you've set up your drop down list in your separate sheet. Okay, you go back to your main sheet, and you're going to say, from now on, when people are entering county, they must enter it in this format. Okay, so you click where you want your drop down list to appear. Okay, and this is quite a few steps in it, so I'll repeat it. Okay, so you go to your data menu at the very top. You go to data validation, and you pick data validation. Okay, a little box appear. So we're recording this, so you can watch this again and again, and we're just recording this part, so it's handy if you ever want to do it again. Okay, so in the allow option, you choose list. Okay, and then you have to tell it which list do you want to be your source. So you press the little red and blue button, and then I have to go to my drop down sheet at the bottom, and I just highlight the counties. I don't highlight the heading. Okay, but as I said, maybe there might be a couple of other counties joining us, so I'm going to drag it down a little bit beyond where just in case my drop down list needs to change. Okay, so that highlights automatically for me when I've dragged it, and I press this little button and it fills in that sheet for me, and I click OK. And what happens, it jumps back to my sheet and it puts a little drop down here. So from now I can see Laois, Offaly, Westmeath. Okay, I pick Offaly. And then the beauty of this is I use my little copy function. So I hold my mouse over that little drop down again. Okay, sorry, rookie mistake. Sorry, go back here. Before I pick something, I copy that formula down. Okay, so what happens now is for every cell, that drop down appears. Okay, so if you're setting up a spreadsheet from the beginning, Mary Frances, that's the way you do it. Any like GPs or PHNs or counties. Now, not everything can be a drop down, but lots of things can be, you know, maybe services that they're seeing. So the thing about spreadsheets is to think in advance, think on paper. And there's lots of stuff that can reduce typing, but also make your data cleaner. Okay. The beauty then of if you do your drop down list in a separate sheet is I can add in Galway. Okay, and I can add in Roscommon just because drop down lists always change, and I can say Laois is actually gone now. Okay, so I'm going to delete Laois and I'm going to rearrange these and put these back up. Okay, so what happens when I go back to my own sheet is history is rewritten and everything now has changed. Okay, so Offaly's gone, so they can be amended. It doesn't change if I had typed in Laois or if I had selected Laois, it's not going to change my Laois figure. It's not going to corrupt my data, but from now on it'll give me the new information. Okay, so we might stop recording on that. I'm going to send little notes on that as well, Mary Frances, because it is kind of just picky.